Well, let the madness commence. Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, as Selection Sunday absolutely delivered Nebraska the top 8 seed, number 29 seed overall. They are off to Memphis for a little barbecue. And dare I say it, a little crazy, Elijah, with the selection committee made up of athletic directors having a good chuckle as it's Nebraska versus Texas A&M, the 8-9 matchup. Gee, I wonder who's going to be sitting courtside with his new team. Yep, that'll be Trev Alberts, the Trev Alberts Bowl. You said this Saturday morning, your dream scenario. The only thing missing from this equation is it being in Omaha, but there is going to be a lot of empty Busch Light cans with all of Iowa and South Dakota invading CHI. But back to Nebraska. Hey, tough one against the Illini. The Illini are still shooting free throws. They won the Big Ten tournament and got in as a 3 seed. 6 Big Ten teams get in. Sparty gets in as kind of a surprising 9 seed. But hey, Nebraska the topic, and Nebraska has, dare I say, a favorable matchup, Elijah. On the offensive side, A&M not great at defending the three-point line. A&M is great, though, at offensive rebounding. That will be a bugaboo Nebraska needs to correct if they want to make history.
Yeah, and I'd like to take my victory lap here for a moment because I will do that. I called Nebraska, Texas A&M on our Saturday show yesterday. The one difference was I had it the 7v10 in Omaha, so I was slightly off. I can take my L there. But, I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. Like, the selection committee knew what they were doing. I'm not sure the hosts of the selection show knew what was going on. They knew the situation, but the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee absolutely knew what they were doing. This is going to be great. I want to go to Memphis just to boo Trev Alberts. Like, I know we're supposed to be media, we're supposed to be impartial. That sounds like a grand old time. I think Husker fans will travel en masse to Memphis to see if Trev makes it down there. The booing will be intense if he does. The crowd's going to be juiced up. It doesn't get any better than this. Like, Husker fans have waited for the NCAA tournament for a long, long time. They have the ultimate matchup that moves the needle and makes you want to go down to Memphis. We're going to be up here in the state of Nebraska, but man, I want to be down in Memphis for this one just because it doesn't get any better than this.
Well, just so you know, come see us at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill Thursday as things tip off for the madness. The Gretna location with Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Friday, we're at Ameristar Sports Casino just across the river in Council Bluffs with our friends at Penn Sports. But it is Nebraska. It is Texas A&M. It is all sorts of juicy. We don't know what time things tip off on Friday versus A&M yet, but Nebraska is favored by 2.5 points. So swing on by Ameristar and put a wager down if you're so inclined. A&M fell in the SEC semis to Florida, 95-90. Wade Taylor, and Manny Obeski are the two guards that are, the best way to put them is streaky. They, when they're on, can dismantle a Kentucky. They can really take over a ball game. You saw Nebraska have issues with Shannon this weekend when it comes to strong guard play. But, man, you got to smile and laugh a little bit with the Trev subplot here. Coach Hoiberg was interviewed after the announcement, a private watch party for Nebraska that was out at Firethorn, and some media availability. And he's not thinking about Trev as
well, at least he's not going to publicly say that.
But as the mayor was joking, he's like, well, with the sense of humor with the committee, listen, he was halfway expecting to see Nebraska possibly via Iowa State in round 2. That matchup. What you do have, though, is a lot of formers. Former AD, Trev Alberts, Nebraska v. A&M. Former program leaders. When you look at Iowa State's head coach and South Dakota State meeting up in that 2-15 matchup. And then in round 2, the Dana Bowl, as Creighton could showdown with Oregon. in the NCAA tournament. So just incredible storylines. Our friends here in the stream have already dubbed it Aggie Hate Week, and some of the other things that have been brought up too was the infamous 2010 Nebraska A&M game down there, football related, with the officiating. But hey, this is great. Nebraska has a tough matchup. You know, those 8-9s are coin flips, and Nebraska has a chance to get right, get healthy. And we were wondering if they were going to pretty much empty the clip, so to speak, with how well they performed in the first half against Illinois. They didn't have enough to hang on clearly in the second half, but it's Nebraska, it's A&M, it's the Trev Bowl, and I can't wait for it. And we'll be front and center for you all week long with Hail Varsity 4-6.
And one thing I do want to quickly discuss here is that Illinois game yesterday. Not completely discouraged with that result, despite the fact that you had Illinois right where you wanted them. I talked about that on Saturday as well as Friday, how much Terrence Shannon Jr. scares me. He did Terrence Shannon Jr. things. Texas A&M does not have a future draft lottery pick. What they do have is a resume that shows you they're going to play just about everybody close, and this is going to be a damn good basketball game. Texas A&M on the season, you go back and look at their results, 2 losses where they were really blown out. Alabama on the road in Tuscaloosa, as well as at Tennessee, so in Knoxville, 2 teams that beat a lot of teams on their home floor a lot this season. You look about everywhere else on their schedule, it's close games. It's maybe not one score, but at least single-digit losses or wins for Texas A&M. This is going to be a game that, as I forecast it now, is probably going to be a one-possession game with 5-6 minutes left, and it's going to come down to making winning plays late. I think Nebraska's got some experience there. They got some guys who've played a lot of college basketball that can step up in those moments, and really just some big-time shot makers, guys that have made shots in big moments this year. C.J. Wilcher, Bryce Williams, Keisei Tominaga, even Rink Mast, I think is a guy that can step in that situation. I think Nebraska may have the advantage late, but one thing I can tell you is I'd almost guarantee at this point in time, this is going to be a game that is close in the second half, and somebody's going to have to make some winning plays down the stretch. As I forecast it now, I think Nebraska's got more guys that can go and do that, but Texas A&M's been hot. They're a streaky basketball team. Can they keep it going on a couple days rest following the SEC tournament and move it into the NCAA tournament? If they can keep that hot streak going, I think you get a little bit worried as a Husker fan. But on paper, I think this is a matchup that Nebraska has the slight advantage in. But as you kind of laid it out, 8-9s are always toss-up games.
Well, Nebraska's going to have to be physical. They're going to have to take care of the basketball. A&M will probably try and pressure a little bit more. And Nebraska's defense and defensive rebounding has to travel along with their three-point shot. Will be out for the madness again. Herd Sports Thursday in Gretna and Ameristar Sports Casino just in Council Bluffs across the river for you to come see us 4-6 live Friday at Ameristar with our friends at Penn Gaming. That's Elijah Herbel. Chris Schmidt will be back at you tomorrow at 4. One more, Elijah.
One more quick thing. I tweeted this out, and I'm not giving myself a self-plug, but this is great. Going back and watching the reaction of the entire Husker basketball team, from Pat Norris in the background, you had C.J. Wilcher saying something about Trev Alberts in the front row, slowing it down. Not a great lip reader. I'm a novice, but he's clearly saying something about Trev. Got Cale Jacobson. You got Hoiberg. Like, the reactions of the Nebraska basketball team are great. You thought this is just a media talking point, and the basketball team's been insulated to this. No, they're well aware, and I think there's a little extra motivation because of that. Those guys loved the draw, and I love that these guys know the implications and understand what the grander storylines of the university are, because something Fred was kind of keeping quiet in that Friday post-game press conference, didn't have too much to say about it, aside from the fact that he loved Nebraska. Haven't really heard any athlete's reaction to this. We got a little look into that with the reaction to the pick. That was just hilarious. I can't stop watching those guys, seeing that it's Texas A&M, because their reaction in that moment was almost the exact same as me sitting at home on my couch. And I love that humanizing effect of these guys of like, hey, they're the basketball players. They're the ones that are going to go try and get it done on Friday, yet they have the exact same reaction as me sitting on my couch with my roommates. I thought that was fantastic. I love that. I just want to make a quick note of that. It's hilarious. If you didn't get a chance to see it, you can check it out on my Twitter at Herbal Essences, or you can go back if you recorded the show and watch it. I highly recommend you do so.
The holy bleep moment. Right?
Yeah.
The holy bleep moment. Their motivation, first and foremost, make history, get off that line of the only team never to win in Power 5, a NCAA tournament game.
So there's already that on the line. You add another level to not only are you making history, you're making revenge.
There's priority, right? Revenge, history. It depends on who you're picking first in the old schoolyard selection process. Back at you at 4 tomorrow. Plenty of dancing to talk. Bo Reed going to join us, and we'll talk Big Red. Thanks for tuning in to Hail Varsity, powered by Cornhead Lager.
And as Don Corleone once said, revenge is a dish best served cold.